Hello and welcome to Total Health with Dr. Nick. My purpose is to inspire, empower, and motivate you to live longer, healthier, and more abundant lives. And today, guys, I've got a great video because this is the one so many of you have been waiting for, and that is alcohol okay on keto. I know you want to know if you can have a life, can you go on, can you still enjoy the things you want to do, have a good drink, an adult beverage, whatever it may be. Well, guys, I'm here to tell you that you can, but there is some pros and cons to it. And just so you know, I'm going to give you a little disclaimer straight up front. I really don't drink much, so this isn't something that I'm an expert on, but I do know people who are. I know plenty of drinkers. But anyway, I did my work on this, did my research, so I think I've got some good information for you to help you determine which are the best, which are the worst. So you want to make sure you watch to the end so you can know which ones you can kind of get away with, which ones are going to give you trouble, which ones you may just want to avoid completely. So it's like the good, the bad, and the ugly. So like I said, watch to the end, and also if you like what we're talking about, please make sure you like, you share, you comment, and subscribe, and hit that little bell notification so that way you get notified anytime I put out a video. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Let's jump into the good stuff. Well, first of all, you have to understand how alcohol is metabolized in the body, because that's going to make a big difference if you want to kind of go down that road or not and make choices for yourself. But number one, let's look at how alcohol is metabolized by the liver. All right, we all know that your liver is your organ of detoxification, and alcohol is a toxin. So you have to know that even some alcohols, even though there's supposedly zero carb, no carbs to them, it will affect your body adversely, because no way to get around it. Alcohol is a toxin and a poison to your body, and your liver treats it like that. So it literally takes alcohol above anything else, and it makes it the main priority. It's like DEFCON 5. It's priority number one. So whenever you take alcohol in, your liver is going to go to work immediately trying to metabolize it and get it out of your system. So alcohol stops weight loss literally in its tracks. So since we're all about the ketogenic diet and your body makes ketones through your liver, that stops. So you're not making ketones anymore, you're not losing fat anymore, you're not losing weight anymore, and that belly fat you're trying to lose, that stops. Okay, that comes to a screeching halt. Not only that, it causes fatty liver disease. So think wisely about this. I'm not telling you not to drink. I'm not telling you not to indulge in an adult beverage from time to time. Lord knows I like to indulge typically in pastries because I love my Italian pastries. In fact, I went away on a trip. We were gone last week on vacation, and I had my share of pastries. So believe me, I know what it's like. I'm Italian. I like some red wine. I like some of the little liqueurs, but I'm not a big fan of the hard liquor. It just doesn't work well for me. Anyway, so let's dive right in. Speaking of hard liquor, that's the one you typically hear about is the best, because these hard liquors do have zero carbs when it comes to the serving size. So serving size is about 1.5 ounces. I don't know if that's exactly what a shot is, but roughly 1.5 ounces. So you can get away typically with things like rum, your scotch, your whiskey, maybe your bourbon, things like that. A lot of people are into bourbon right now. It's like the fad, the new thing to do, and maybe it's been around for a long time, but I've just been hearing about it a lot lately. Vodka, tequila, and gin. So a lot of times your white or your clear alcohols are going to be your best, but these are the ones, if you're wanting to have some alcohol, these are going to be the best ones to have. Now, it's also going to depend what you mix with it. So once again, we're going to talk about it at the end, so make sure you watch till the end. Some of your other ones, your champagnes and your wine. Typically, when you're on the scale where it's more drier wine, or like a champagne, which is typically a little drier, not quite as sweet, that's where you're going to get the lowest amount of carbs. The sweeter you get, the more it's going to have carbs in it. So champagne is down at a 1, and this is about a 4 to 5 ounce glass. White wine is at a 2, red wine's at a 3. So, your clear, once again, is going to be your best bet if you do have to have wine or champagne. That doesn't mean mimosas, because mimosas you're going to be adding a lot of sugar in the form of orange juice. So that's not a mimosa right over here. And this isn't sangria over here, okay? All right, now, as for your beer, beer is basically liquid bread. I mean, you look at what's in it. Your hops, your malt, your barley, things like that. This is liquid bread, and know that. Now, there are some beers that are going to be better than others. So down at this end, on the low end, by the way, I know you're thinking, but I drink light beer. Light beer is going to be the best. Light beer doesn't mean no carbs, okay? Just so you know that. There's no real such thing as a light beer. You're going to have carbs in it. So 2.6 grams of carbs for, say, your Michelob Ultra, your Select, your I think this is Miller Lite, Coors Light. You're starting to move up a little bit to a 5. When you get into the Beck's, Budweiser, so on, Heineken, you're getting into the double digits over here. So Guinness, anytime you get into these heavy, I guess they're called stout beers. Once again, I really don't drink, but your stouts, your lagers, things like that, you're going to get higher in the carb count. So be aware of that. Now, next, what about mixed drinks? Well, this is where you start to get into real trouble. And by the way, one last thing about the beer, you do have something called a beer belly. You know that, right? So that's one of the reasons why you want to stay away from beers, because beers cause a lot of weight to be put on right around the gut, and you know that. Like I said, mixed drinks now. Now, these are where you also get into some trouble because they typically have a lot of syrups and things in it like that. So your margarita is an 8. Start to really go up here. And by the way, my wife used to love these. Every time we went out to dinner, she'd always order a Cosmopolitan or 2 or a Cosmo. It sounds so sophisticated. Sorry, honey. But these are 28. I mean, you're really starting to ramp it up here with one drink. You have 2 of these, you're way over your carb count for the day. You're in the 60 range. Things like a rum and Coke, wow, that's 39. So once again, you start to mix things into your drinks. You take rum, which is basically was a 0 before. Now all of a sudden you're ramping it up to a 39. Sweet liqueurs. Now this is actually the stuff I like because I typically, once again, am Italian. I love amaretto. I love, things like Kahlua. Now, that's not Italian, but I grew up drinking that. My mother would make me a White Russian when I was a little guy, little guy. Anyway, so Bailey's, a lot of people love Bailey's, 7.4. Kahlua, 15. Amaretto, 17. Once again, I grew up drinking that, drinking things like Anisette, Sambuca. Those are always favorites around our house at the holidays. Cream the Mint, 22, and then Jägermeister. Ooh, I could tell you some stories about Jägermeister when I was younger and in high school. That's probably why I don't drink now. That stuff's rough. That stuff's really nasty, and it goes down very minty. It's like mouthwash, and you don't even realize that it's going to put you on your butt. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. Back to this, that's 27. So once again, you want to watch these because they are loaded with carbs, and you're probably having more than the recommended dose. Now, what can you mix with this? Because this is really where it gets important too. Of course, you want to mix it with things that will cut the alcohol down, dilute it a little bit. So there are better choices than others. Obviously, water is going to be probably the best choice because it's got 0 carbs, of course, and there's nothing else in it, cleanest you can get. So on this end of the good stuff, you're looking at club soda, seltzer water, whatever you choose to call it, out of the fountain, out of the container, club soda. San Pellegrino and Perrier, also sparkling water. So if you tend to want that little bit of bubbly in with your alcohol, you can get it here, okay? What you don't want is tonic water. Tonic water is horrendous. Tonic water is about 25 grams of carbs per, little amount, 4 or 5 ounces, maybe 8 ounces. So it is huge. And if you're making a nice big gin and tonic, you're in trouble with this because this is going to put you way over the carb count. You could probably double it right there. So this is something you definitely don't want to have. You want to avoid these. So in a nutshell, all right, can you have your alcohol? Yes, you can have your alcohol like this. Like, you know me, guys. I'm real at this point. I'm very real with you. Have your little adult beverages. Indulge a little bit, but just know that you are going to stop burning fat. Just know that. Don't expect it. Don't be surprised by it that you put on a little bit of weight afterwards. Just know it. You're going to stop burning fat. You're going to put a little bit on around your waist. And just know that in advance. But other than that, indulge, enjoy, but use the ones that are a little bit cleaner. Stick to the edge where we're talking about 0 carbs, your whiter alcohols, things like that. Well, anyway, guys, I hope this is great information for you. If so, make sure you like, you share, you comment, and subscribe. And thanks so much for being here today. Oh, one last thing. I want to give a shout out before we go. And this is to Flash Gordon. Anybody want to take a guess if this is not his real name? Flash says, congratulations, Dr. Nick. You're the first keto coach I started watching on YouTube. And after almost 22 weeks, I've lost 42 pounds. That's amazing, 42 pounds. I've never dreamed it was possible. Thanks for your inspiration and information. Keep the videos coming. Well, I'll tell you what, Flash, that is amazing. You are an inspiration to so many others. In fact, that makes you a keto rock star. Okay, my brother? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I love and appreciate you guys. Thanks for supporting my channel. And until then, This is Dr. Nick. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.